That's there. But how are you doing, Tara?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
Great. I'm doing good. Been a little bit of a busy week. I mean, as usual. But a lot of interesting stuff has happened lately. Have you been keeping up to date with all the drama?
You mean like the war vibe stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if our Gen Z men can handle it.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Well-
not one.
No, Tara, it's okay. No, if you guys, I'm sure you've seen it. Tara's posted a couple of videos asking a few people on Instagram, I think TikTok, so all of our social medias, what everybody has been thinking about this topic, and it's regarding Candace Owens, right?
Yes.
And Rabbi Barclay.
Rabbi Barclay.
Now, for those of you who have been watching our podcast for a little while, like last year,
You've seen him
on here. Yeah, so you've seen him here on our show. We had a great discussion with him then, but it was pretty interesting to actually watch the whole entire discussion with Candace Owens and him.
Yeah.
Um,
It reminded me a lot of our conversation
know,
with him.
It did strike a lot of like just resemblance, I think,
Yeah.
in some ways, with a few things he did say, but it was pretty interesting. I definitely recommend y'all to go back and watch that one
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But I think that it's there's a lot of drama there
Yeah.
going down, especially with Candace Owens now separating from the Daily Wire. So
It is
Yeah.
a lot of it's a lot of drama. It's not the drama I was talking about like,
yeah.
just I mean, if you stem deeper, it is Israel Palestine, but
Right.
it's just like, taking a step back
Mhm.
and there's still some just questions for it. But
Mhm.
we have some guests today actually.
Yeah.
So
We've got one returning guest and a new guest. So first off, we'll start with our new guest. Can you just quickly introduce yourself? We'll get into deeper later.
Yes. My name's Francesca. You guys can call me Frankie if you'd like. I am from Turning Point, USA. I am the Inland Empire field rep. I basically work with college students. Yeah, that's the gist of what I do. Very service level.
Yeah. And then our returning guest, which is my one and only great mother.
Hello.
Catherine.
You can call me Catherine.
Yeah. We did have a podcast where it was just myself and my mother a little while back too. So if you want, go check that out. I don't remember what episode that one was. But that one was pretty good. Let's see. So Francesca, just a little bit about what are some of your top interests or things that drive you?
Yeah. Let's see. I was just talking to Sarah about this before we started. Very passionate. I don't want to say passionate because that sounds bad, but top interest would be like pro-life, pro-choice issue. I also love, that's probably the biggest one I would say. A little bit more about me. I love shopping, so that's also an interest of mine. I love shopping. I love health and fitness, so the holistic side of, health and fitness world. I actually went to college and graduated with like health and fitness, so that's also a big interest of mine, especially nowadays with like big pharma,
Right.
all that stuff. So that's also a big interest of mine. The list could go on and on. I feel like I need 7 different lives, so I'll just cut it there.
Now, holistic, like sort of stuff like that. What is holistic? So, because it's growing in popularity right now, but I
Yeah.
still think that a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah. So holistic medicine is just kind of like using natural and healing your body instead of using medicine that was like created pretty much in labs to heal your body. So holistic medicine can kind of be related to like Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine. Like nowadays, like we're in the Western culture, so we use Advil. Like this is very simple,
Yeah.
but like Advil, Tylenol, those sort of things to kind of put a Band-Aid on like our whatever we're having wrong. But Chinese medicine, holistic medicine is kind of trying to find like the root cause, going about it more like a natural way instead of, using Western Advil, stuff like that.
Western like remedies, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
the remedies.
So
chemicals.
that's
Yeah.
that's definitely a pretty big issue that I know that Robert F.
Yeah.
Kennedy has been bringing up too. And I think a lot of more conservative people, and I think even Democrats as well, have been seeing that a lot of the things that we currently have in the Western world are sort of poisoning us in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, so it sucks because you grow up thinking that the world, even like our government, is there to kind of protect you in a way, and really they're not. Sad to say. So you kind of grow up thinking like the doctor is there to save you, which like they are.
Yeah.
I won't say that they're not. But more cases kind of have come out of doctors like killing their patients, which is like a whole other story. But so yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy, kind of like taking a step back and realizing that the world is kind of against you. And we just need to kind of focus on the Lord and like our second life and going, in that direction instead of kind of placing like those things on doctors and what we have like in the world nowadays. So
there is so much trust in the pharmaceutical company with everything they do. It's almost like it's just like mass like ants. Like we almost operate like ants. Like we just trust them because of a mass mental space,
Now, you did mention that you're sort of going, I guess, going against the current with everything that we've seen. I mean, I think that during 2020, we sort of saw that with a lot of things where if you were kind of against, some of the things that were being told, you were hated on. Now, why do you think that there's so much distrust even in like the natural medicines that we have?
Yeah. I would say like if we look back at the COVID era, we can kind of use that as like the biggest way that the government and even doctors have kind of like lost our trust.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing I'll talk to students about is like, look at what happened during COVID. Like how can you trust a government that lied to you,
Yeah. Look
that's
at
just major. It's
we have
crazy.
some comments on this, so what is
Okay, yeah. One of
Doctors are license killers. Oh my gosh, Melissa,
And
that's
then-
insane.
Yeah.
That's so true. That is a hot take.
That is a very hot take, actually. Yeah.
To make us sick, yeah. Because they can't
Stockholm
profit.
syndrome.
That's a very good point right
Office.
there.
That
Yeah.
So it's like a vicious cycle. So like you're sick and you go to the doctor and they give you medicine, okay, and then you're feeling a little bit better. In the long run, you're still gonna be sick because the medicine is just a band-aid, okay. Band-aids fall off, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to go back to the doctor again and you're still sick, so they give you something else, and then it's just you go back and forth and back and forth, and it's just kind of crazy because I mean that's how they make their money. If we were not sick, they wouldn't make any money. So
I heard someone say the other day that like, it was a crazy number, like $380 billion is spent every year on dental care.
Oh yeah.
Yet like 1 in 3 people have dental disease or gum disease. So it's just like, obviously, statistically, it's not, the solution is not working.
Yeah, I don't know. It's insane. And I wish that more people, I think that more people are starting to kind of wake up to that. I would say, give or take, like when I'm on campuses talking to students about this stuff, it's definitely, I don't seem as crazy anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still hot.
Wait, how do you say?
I don't seem as crazy anymore. I know.
Wait, so you were saying that when you're on campus and stuff, sometimes it just like felt like they were like you had trouble talking to a lot of the other college students?
Yeah, I would say because a lot of these things that we talk about are like, I hate to say hot takes, but they're just not like, they're not the norm, you like you said, going against the current. So everything that we kind of talk about, you're gonna kind of stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
So
No, so
you gotta be passionate about what you're talking about, because people
Like
will always
tinfoil
come back
hat
at you.
stuff? Is
Oh
that-
yeah, I'm a big tinfoil hat girl.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
A lot of people, I've heard even from the Christian community that, tinfoil hats or being big conspiracy theorists are pretty bad. But in reality, I really think that being aware of your surroundings, obviously not being not being afraid because of these things, and as long as it's not distracting you from your relationship with God, totally okay. To understand what's happening around us, how the government's working, being aware is one of the most like powerful things that you have.
mean, ignorance is bliss to a certain extent. I think that it's important to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a biblical saying as well. I think it's in Proverbs. Yeah.
I don't know if you're referring to the same thing, but I know that, like, even being a lukewarm Christian is still nothing else. So being neutral on, like, certain topics is still bad.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, they're piggybacking off of that whole pharmaceuticals and the health industry. Something that's very interesting is that Monsanto was bought out by Bayer, which is a pharmaceutical company, in 2018. So there is really no incentive for pharmaceuticals to help keep us healthy if they're spraying our crops with pesticides.
Yeah, see.
So, I mean, it just...
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to say that's conflict of interest right there.
Yeah.
It's still a vicious cycle. So that goes into the cycle. You got to eat food as well. So that plays into the cycle, which is crazy.
That's terrible. Thinking about that. It's just like, what are we supposed to do about something like that, you know?
I think, like, so what I was saying, ignorance is bliss. That's why I think that you need to be, like, aware of things to a certain extent, because sometimes things kind of will drive you crazy, and then, you know, you end up straying, like what you said, like, from the Lord, and you end up straying, you know, from other things. So I think it's important to be aware, definitely, but aware enough to where you can still live your life and be content and, you know, happy and whatnot.
Totally.
You know, speaking of which, though, one thing that happened this week was the whole thing with Kanye. Did you kind of see that? Like, did you hear about that? Where he was, I mean, I didn't watch the whole interview, so I can't speak too much on it. But I did hear him say that basically praying, like all these people praying and not doing anything, and that's like that's like Christianity in a harmful way.
Oh, like just being a Christian, praying, but not actually living out a Christian life and like doing works. Is that what he's referring to, or?
Well, I heard another thing say too that he like said that Jesus let him down. I'm yet to confirm that. That was like a news story though. So I mean, until I hear it come out of his mouth in context, it's kind of like I'm not really gonna like.
Okay, yeah,
but that was interesting.
That's definitely something we want to look into. But one thing that has been sort of really, I don't know if you've seen the headlines for it. People have been talking about it all over. It's about Chick-fil-A. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A. I didn't even hear about this.
Walked back from their promise that they made, I think, 10 years ago to not use antibiotics on their chicken. They're no longer doing this anymore. Okay, and I'm pretty sure this is probably bugging a lot of Christians. I mean, Chick-fil-A chicken's already bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but still, Christians still like, you know, it's the, I don't know, the Christians sort of restaurant, I guess.
I knew
it. They call it the Lord's chicken.
The Lord's chicken.
I've heard that.
I've noticed the difference. You can tell when they started using antibiotics on the chicken at Chick-fil-A.
Really?
It doesn't taste as good.
Really?
It doesn't taste as good.
Well, I know that it's been because of short demand or like I don't know. Something's been happening. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with that, but what's your take on this? Your whole entire
So Chick-fil-A, obviously, I liked Chick-fil-A in the beginning. Chick-fil-A breakfast, come on. Like, the little tater tots are so good. You can't go wrong with them. But
the rewards.
I actually saw this meme that, the Chick-fil-A rewards. I saw this meme, and it was, like, it was showing, like, the Chick-fil-A kitchen, I guess, if you want to call it their kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was basically a bunch of scientists, like, injecting the chicken with stuff. So that was, like, a meme. So it's probably referring to, like, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would not. I don't trust anybody, so I will not be eating the Chick-fil-A anymore.
Okay.
I mean, every once in a while, but I just cannot eat the Chick-fil-A.
Dude, Krispy Kreme.
Wait,
Krispy Kreme merged with McDonald's.
Whoa.
Are they trying to kill us?
Yes.
What does that mean? Wait, Frappuccinos started tasting different after they started using
Monsanto
milk. I boycotted.
What is Monsanto
Oh,
milk?
you
Tell
just
us,
said
Melissa.
that.
What is
Okay, you
Monsanto?
just said so.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
Catherine, do you know what Monsanto milk is?
So it's probably the farms.
Yeah.
It's probably the
They
farms.
produce
Is it fake milk?
pesticides. Yeah.
Oh.
Like glyphosate.
What is that?
Oh.
They spray it on the crops.
Mm.
So I'm not sure
So we're
how
getting
that
it
got
anyway.
into the milk, but I mean, maybe
Oh, it's
the
getting in
cows
everything
ate
now.
that, and
Yeah.
That's
so
terrible.
that makes sense. No.
Okay, someone else says trying to live in a gray area neutral on topics is nothing but destructive. Yeah,
preach.
what exactly are you referring to?
I mean,
well?
it's probably
there's
what you
so
were
many
talking about earlier.
Being neutral, yeah.
being neutral,
Being like you're saying, like being neutral is still being destructive.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates milk.
Yeah,
Somebody
it probably
said
is.
Bill Gates.
God, that guy's just all over the place.
He is. He really
It
is.
is.
No.
I feel like there's some topics that it's impossible to be neutral on, like abortion. You know.
There are, but some people are still neutral. I'm like, how are you still neutral on that?
But I feel like with abortion, it's either it's okay to kill a human being or it's not.
I agree with you 100%, but I talk
But
to
you
some
can't agree
people.
if you can't define what being
That
alive is. So a human
That's
is.
true.
Well,
When
it's
does
not a giraffe.
No.
So what?
I know.
It's a zygote.
Yeah, that is
not a goat
true.
either.
I've talked to a lot of students on campuses about like pro-life and pro-choice and like what do they think. You have to always ask that question. I always ask like what their definition of things are, whatever you're talking about. I always ask that first if you're gonna start like a debate with somebody, because you need to know like how they define things.
That's
because you can't debate somebody if you're not on the same page of the simple definitions, you know?
Right. And that's
Yeah.
what happened with Candace Owens
I
and
know.
Rabbi Barkley. They
Yes,
couldn't
yeah.
agree on what anti-Semitism meant.
Right.
Right.
That's
And
a
if you can't-
complicated thing.
Yeah, if you can't agree on like the word and what it means, then you can't talk.
Yeah, if you're
That's
arguing like
You
apples
can't.
and oranges, how are you possibly
Yeah.
gonna? I mean, what does anti-Semitism mean? Is that too far?
That. Okay. I mean, that is definitely very.
Let's Google it.
Google.
What is Google's so trustworthy, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
anti-Semitism Wikipedia. Do you guys trust Wikipedia?
Oh, Wikipedia. Do you
I
remember
mean,
when you could edit Wikipedia?
Yeah,
Do you
I do.
remember that?
I remember like I watch like celebrities go on there and edit their own
Yes.
pages.
They're
It's
like,
so
Britney
funny.
Spears was so cool. Everybody loved her. Oh my gosh, that was cringy. Okay, so so anti-Semitism is hostility to, prejudice towards, or discrimination against Jews. That's what I know it as.
Yeah.
What else can it be?
Yeah.
I don't know. People
I mean,
just
that's a
add
simple.
what they want. in
That's a
there.
simple.
Racism. It's racism, right?
Yeah, it's a simple definition, I think. Yeah. No, actually, today one of the things that came up on the news, I don't know if you saw, was RFK Jr. announced his running mate.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I actually would have to pull this up because I don't remember like her stuff. But he got met with like a lot of like backfire from a lot of conservatives because she is and she's now independent, but she used to be a Democrat, and she was married to a billionaire who she helped fund like Pete Buttigieg through him. She's backed by George Gascon, or at least used to. And a lot of people were kind of upset with that in the conservative like realm. So he's probably trying to either like extend an olive branch over to the Democrat side, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he chose her, and she is a woman, so that's like another like I guess brownie point to that.
Diversity points.
Right, diversity points, guys. You gotta have 'em.
Oh, she hits every single one.
Yeah, she's also Asian, so I guess
Oh gosh, we got
that's
all the
right. She's Asian. Her mother was a immigrant from China, and she had a hard life growing up. So she does hit a lot of like points. And then somebody put they're both Irish. That's correct. Her father is like both Irish, I think German as well, if I recall from
Oh, this is
their
interesting.
last name Shanahan. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, she does have a white.
Oh,
sort of
Chick-fil-A has not.
last name.
Well, you don't have any in Canada because maybe they're not trying to kill you.
Yeah,
yet.
we're looking at the comments right
Well,
now, and
what's
someone
very
said
interesting,
there's
like,
no Chick-fil-A in Canada.
What's
I didn't
very
know that.
interesting is that everywhere else you see the ingredients, even from like unhealthy restaurants here in
Yeah.
America, compared to the ones in Europe, are so different. Absolutely so different. The ingredients are like just, it's crazy to look at.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we the ones being targeted? The cereals are different. Like they're the same product, but they're making them different for other countries. And I want to know why would that be? Like that's just so.
You know, in Japan though, like you go to a Japanese market or something, and like some of the candy there, it's definitely like it's like almost like plastic. You know, like the ramen noodles that you like squirt into a thing. It's like noodles, but it's like at what cost? You know?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's like I was saying before, like you grow up thinking that the world is like this happy place, and then you get older.
Hey, you know what though? We were talking about motherhood earlier, and I was gonna say that just like in general, like motherhood is like you almost go back to that space.
Yeah.
Because you get to do that. You get to go back to that happiness and that joy and that optimism that you felt as a child, you know? Where like you didn't care about what people think about you and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like this freeness that children, but you're on the other side of it now, and you're their protector, and you like you form a team of protectors, you know? And so motherhood it's really cool in that way, where it's like you get to go back to dude, okay, wait. I did want to read this too. The question there is that the point at which it becomes human, in my opinion, is when becoming cognitive. Cognition, yeah. Begins in the formative process. So, yeah, sorry, dyslexia kicked in there. Anyway, okay, no. But, okay, well then my question for you, Melissa, is, so what about autistic children who are high on the spectrum who don't have cognitive abilities? What about them? So are they unhuman if they're so autistic that they can't like even be aware of what's going on? In Europe, so different. We got to get back to natural foods. Agree with you on that. Absolutely. Natural foods, no antibiotics, fruit, vegetables. Dude, like most people are dehydrated. But it's like, it's true, but you can eat water. You can eat cucumbers, you can eat apples, you're eating water.
That's true.
What are some of your biggest tips for living a holistic
lifestyle? Don't trust anything that the government tells you is good for you or bad for you. And let me go back. Don't trust what they say is bad for you. Like, what do I have as an example? It'll come back to me. But a lot of times they push things that are like, oh, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it ends up being, oh, wait, that was good for me? Like, oh, did I actually need to do that? It's just really sad that how badly they want us to die. And like what you were saying, like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why either, because if we were to all die, what would they have?
Well, maybe
nothing.
Maybe the point
not
is
humans.
just
not human.
Well,
they're not human. That's true.
Also
Melissa gets it.
Yeah,
there's a conspiracies. Here we go.
Well, this is
on Zoom.
No, you're
on our podcast,
like
Melissa.
my conspiracies. Okay, so I think that there's some people that are gonna die and that need to die in their opinion because they want a one world government, and they want less humans or whatever, you know. So that's one thing. But I think that they want the majority of the people, or at least some of them, to stay sick, so they're relying on the government. So like we were talking about too,
consumers.
So you're right, consumers, so they can make money. But
what other tips do I have? Work out every day, even if it's just like a walk.
Okay,
it's the best thing that you could possibly do.
And sunshine.
Sunshine for sure. About 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, just sit outside. It's a good time if you're a believer. It's a good time to just be with the Lord outside for a little bit.
That's great advice.
Water, obviously, drinking water.
Eating water.
Yeah. And this is something I don't do because I just am a late owl, but going to bed early is really good too. Just those are the basic things.
Yeah, like a good sleep schedule probably.
Yeah.
Waking up in the morning and there's like nobody, it's so cool.
It is. If I wish I was a morning girl. I'm trying. I'm really trying, but it's not working.
I know. I hate waking up early.
I do, yeah.
But, you know. Yeah, no.
Wow, this bridge in Baltimore.
One thing is,
see this?
See
this stuff? The bridge in Baltimore?
Yeah. Okay, one more question for her. I don't know if you want to talk about that. But what is probably your favorite exercise?
Like what do I like to do?
Yeah, what's your favorite thing to do for exercise?
Gosh, I love everything. So I actually also coach at Orange Theory. This is a shameless plug for Orange Theory. Orange Theory is a high intensity interval training class. So there's treadmills, like rowers and weights. So you kind of just go in like a little circuit. I love Orange Theory for like a cardio aspect. My favorite thing would be like Pilates or a spin class. I love the class-based things. I think that's just so fun to be with other group of people that are in the same, you know, fitness level, and they're kind of doing the same thing as you. The music is nice and loud and whatnot. And I lift, like I do weightlifting every day, which is the best.
How much can you lift?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, yeah.
It's my favorite thing. I love it. If I could, this is so sad. If I could work out all day, I would.
Okay, I had to put my son in timeout the other day. Just really quick story. And there was like a 5-pound weight near the timeout corner. I turn around and he's like lifting the 5-pound weight. And I said to my husband, "Oh my gosh, he's like working out in timeout." Like
that's so cute. Like
he's jail. I sometimes find like the lack of enthusiasm to go out and do exercise though. But you know what I do love is I love biking. I love swimming, and I also love when I do like work out. I do like HIIT. Like that's
you should try Orange Theory. Yeah.
Okay.
F45 is cool too. That's like another type of HIIT class. F45.
F45.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah. Spin class. If you like biking,
so
spin is. I feel like I'm in a club when I go to spin class.
Cool.
Like, this is awesome.
They got the lights going on.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Oh. I'm going on Friday. It's the best thing. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, what did you have about the bridge?
Just this bridge. I'm just all I know is that a bridge collapsed and then Biden paid for it to basically.
I just am laughing. I was actually at the gym and I saw this. I saw this earlier today.
Yeah.
But then I saw it again on the news and it said federal government is paying for rebuilding the bridge, and I'm like, the federal government, aka the people, are paying.
The United States.
Yeah, the people of the United States are
like
paying
we're
for
footing
it.
the bill.
Yes, we are. It's so
breaking
funny.
news.
Just to segue into something really quick, the bridge originally cost somewhere around $60 million to build. At this point, I think we're about $74 billion into Ukraine.
Oh yes.
Since it started, that's U.S. taxpayer money. Just for context, it's crazy.
It is, yeah.
So our infrastructure, which is one of the main points that he ran on, was to rebuild America. Right, rebuild America back, build it back better.
Build
Do you
back
remember
better.
that?
Yes.
Build it. That was such a real.
So, I mean, you know, priorities, right?
I know. Seriously.
Oh, Melissa doesn't know about the bridge. Gotta tell her about the bridge.
It was crazy. I watched the video. Okay, I watched that video, and there was like it was like dark, and then just like it was just going towards the bridge.
The carrier
was Chinese. Is that true?
It was hacked.
What? Wait. And we're paying for that, and they're Chinese.
What?
Yeah, it's Baltimore.
Yeah, that's
bridge.
it's so true. No way it didn't see.
I know.
I know there's no brakes on a boat, like obviously, but.
I have the video right here.
That doesn't make any sense. Come on.
It just goes like, I don't know if people can see it.
No, it just goes straight
into
the bridge.
It's like it walks into a pole or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, do you see her reason? It says it was a retaliation for CIA hit on that Moscow concert.
Okay.
This
is what I'm talking about. This whole World War thing vibe is scary.
just the vibe that's
maybe
going on.
Maybe just because I'm a mom now and I'm like,
well, I mean, it's a big deal. 30,000 people use that bridge every day. So it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I know what happened, but
you always have to put your tinfoil on when you read things like this. You have to kind of think
you know what? Why I started thinking that was when I started watching the media during the State of the Union and how they were talking about it. I immediately was like,
Yeah, look at this. It says, like, possibly leaving a number of people in the river below.
Yeah.
So, but there's just a bunch of people at, like, what?
There's a few that accounted for.
Yeah.
Oh,
Titanic
Melissa says
vibes.
all boats are automated and GPS satellites navigated. Those carriers don't come in manual anymore. Is that true?
Wow.
I don't know about this.
No, that would make sense.
I
mean, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to, like, be more
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's for those who aren't on Instagram.
Could it potentially be hacked?
All boats, somebody commented all boats are automated
Was it? I don't know.
and GPS satellites navigated. Those carriers don't come in manual anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's a bit
No, it's good. It's good.
I feel like with things like this, you always have to kind of think of like why? Like why would something like this happen, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, with anything that has ever happened in the world, I hate to say like 9/11, but you always kind of have to think why.
Yeah.
Like, why did that happen?
Well, here it does say, I scrolled down and it said, this wasn't the ship's first accident. The Dolly was also involved in a port collision in Antwerp.
In 2016.
In 2016. I was like, did I say that? That's not good.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff right there.
And that just raises more questions, like always.
And you know what's funny too is like it's an election year, so I'll just throw that out there.
Okay. Did you see how?
Throw that.
Has anyone noticed? Okay.
October surprise? No, we're not even in October yet.
I'm not even gonna say it.
The October surprise. That's funny.
Now, let's see. Do we want to jump into another topic that I have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I know you, when you sent in your bio, you had something about women's right in sports. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now I kind of want to jump into that. And what sport did you play?
I played volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yes.
Okay. And you played that for college or for like?
For my whole life.
Your whole life. Fun.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So. You do have a familiarity with sports, which is good.
Yeah.
But tell me, I mean, there's such a big debate right now going on whether or not trans women should be allowed to play in women's sports.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about your feelings about that. And what are the harms that we can see potentially with having women or trans women in women's sports?
Yeah. So being like a athlete myself, I'm definitely a big advocate for not having trans women in women's sports. I think if we're going to go as far as to maybe have their own league to make them happy, go for it. But men and women are just completely different. Like our DNA and our bio and how we're made is just so different. You cannot tell me that a trans woman, because they took hormones and whatever else they've done, is now equal to how a woman is made. You know, it just makes zero sense to me. So I just think that it's so wrong. And even like all the locker room talk and how they're now in the locker rooms and like all that stuff, like that's its own separate thing. But actually playing the sport with real women I just can't believe that's happening. And real women that are playing these sports, like, where are you? Like, why are you not saying anything? I don't get it. Why? It's like almost like women nowadays are just being so made fun of for being being a real woman. It's just crazy to me.
It's crazy because I feel like women have for so long have fought for their place, right?
Yes.
For history. Our ancestors were fighting for their place, to have their stuff, to have a say. And then now all of a sudden men again are coming back and then dominating women's sports now.
And I don't think I don't think women realize that they're being like almost fooled a little bit. I'm like, do you realize like who the overarching person in this like battle is? It's the men like coming in one more time. I'm not like a bit, I sometimes like to call myself a conservative feminist in that way. Because like what you're saying, women have fought so long for having like a place in society. I don't know where they are.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't hear targeted.
You. One thing
Melissa,
that I hear often.
Really my gosh, Melissa, center. Okay, I was a outside libero, Melissa. Okay.
Look at that. Now, I've heard the argument that what if the trans woman was taking hormones? Yeah. What if they were taking hormones when they were very young, before like puberty started? You know what? Yeah. What is your like response to that?
I still think that you were born. Oh gosh, that's hard. I have yet to be asked that question. What would I say if I was on a college campus? I would probably say I don't have that info right now. No. I just think that you're born a man, and you're born even if you're taking the hormones at such a young age, you still have like, you're not fully transitioned. I don't know. I don't believe that anyone is like fully transition over. I don't know. I'm skeptical on that.
Well, another thing is our bodies were already designed in a certain way, and you can't just redo your bone structure either.
Yes.
Bone density.
Yeah, bone density. None of that can be like
muscle
redone.
mass and all that.
Yeah. So that's one thing. And then
I have one thing to bring up. So have you guys heard of SAGs? stay-at-home girlfriends.
Oh yeah.
It's like a whole trend. It's like we're moving away from girl boss 2000s, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's interesting. It's so interesting. I have a few friends too that are very like, well, were very girl boss, and they were single forever, and they have a boyfriends now, and now they're like, oh, wait, I want to be a sack. I want to be a stay girl.
They got the Dyson vacuum and the skincare
like,
routine.
Really? You were so girl boss before. What happened to you?
They just found out that
being
a stay-at-home wife kind of is.
Well, I've seen all the like the posts where like women are like, oh, this it's like a real word. It's like this job is starting to make me like think that making a sandwich is easier or something.
Yes.
Like, you know, I've seen those ones.
I'm like I like to refer to myself as like a stay-at-home mom from the 50s, but with a computer.
Oh, yeah.
I have been working part-time lately, which is odd because I'm not usually out of the house, but I'm back before lunch, and it's like, but the computer has made it so a lot of us can work from home. So even if you're not like living in a, you know, crazy luxury apartment with some sugar daddy or whatever, you can still make money and be a girl boss, but still have like a relaxed at-home environment, which is what I think is the point, right?
Melissa has a good point, because the devil hates women and children the most.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
if
true.
you let every issue that we have in this world, it goes back to that. So it goes back to believing in Jesus, the devil, and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like every issue kind of goes back to that.
So true.
Now, one thing that I have been seeing, one thing I want to kind of jump back a little bit to the sports. I have been, one of my family members keeps on sending me these videos of women dominating in men's sports, like in men's teams and whatever, like in wrestling or something else.
Yeah.
And I keep on seeing those, and I'm just like, okay, everybody seems to always highlight the exceptions to make it seem like it is like the normal thing.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. I don't know. Have you seen that where so many, where they show like, oh, this woman dominated here against a guy, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and what have you had any experience with that? What do you your response to that?
Yeah, I have seen that a lot. I mean, when I was little, very little, I would play like t-ball with the boys. But I mean, that's like little, little kid. But I've had friends in high school like be on the wrestling team and that, like what you're saying with videos and stuff. I still think it's wrong. I don't think that women should be in men's sports either. I don't know why we can't just stay to what we were made.
Yeah. Also,
it would make life so much simpler.
I don't know if you want me to bring this up, but my mom was on the guys wrestling team. I want you to tell me, how was your experience with that? How did it make you feel?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think at the time my brother was a co-captain of the team, or captain of the team. It's been so long, but they went really soft on me for a little while, and then I did have a few, I would call them a few beat downs, where my face like met the mat very clearly. It was very hard to keep up, and my weight was the featherweight, so it was like 103 pounds.
Yes.
So I mean, there wasn't that much of a difference, but I'm sure if I stuck in it and competed at, you know, some of the higher levels, if I ever got there, the competition would be very obvious. I would probably lose against a guy.
Yeah. Well, it's hard too, because I don't think women had wrestling. I don't even know if they have their own wrestling now.
I don't know, dude. I have zero idea.
They have girls on the team now, at least at the high school I went to, but I was the only one at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting.
What's the likelihood of a biological man killing a biological woman?
Well, you know what? I
don't
know about that.
Like in wrestling, when the sports mix, you know.
I have seen professional wrestlers absolutely beat down women who are totally done after like a match, and it's just like, ooh, it does not look pretty.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign up for that.
No, I wouldn't either.
Women wrestled in ancient Greece. Whoa, boxers.
That's true.
No, well, that's what.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ancient Greece, I mean, there's
that'll stop the killing.
The ancient world was definitely a lot more different. Women and men in those times, and especially around that area, was definitely that's all they did was fighting.
Yeah. Well,
it was a lot of stuff.
8 o'clock.
I don't know how much longer we have left.
I think
time.
Wrap it up.
No.
Infinity.
Infinity forever.
You know,
got another 20.
No. Okay. Wow.
That's wonderful, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
That's
we
good.
can cover some more stuff.
Yeah. So let's see.
Oh, boxers. Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to go back to that work at home thing.
It's just the SAG thing. It's just interesting that like for such a long time, it was all about women have to work. That was like a big thing behind abortion was women have to work, women have to go to college. You know, we have affirmative action. It's like, right? Does that affect women? I know it affects other races, but do they choose women just for diversity reasons? Probably.
There is
right?
a diversity quota that they have to. Yeah, for DEI. Yeah.
So it's like it seemed so serious when I was a child. It seemed like life or death. So the fact that women are casually pulling out of that is just kind of like annoying, you know, because it's like, oh, wait, now we're gonna try traditionalism, and it's stay-at-home girlfriend, so it's not stay-at-home wife. So it's like, so my perspective on that is just like, well, why not get married if you're just gonna like be at his house, basically take care of him, and he takes care of you? Why would you not get married to him?
Something that I would have to steal your saying is playing house. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, that's so true. It is.
I mean, I mean, there's a number of reasons why women would want to do that, or why men would want to do that. I think men would want to do that because they get someone young around their age. They kind of get to test things out, and they're young and immature.
Yeah.
And it takes them a little while to get their bearings as a man. And then once they're done with you, then they move on to the one.
Yeah.
And they're like, thank you for holding that spot for me. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I kind of messed up here. I'm ready to move on. And I think that's where
that's why I
a
think
lot of men
waiting until marriage gives a man like a push to want to get married. I sound so conservative. I sound like a little old conservative sexist
No, it's
lady
very true.
I mean, there's two things. It could push a man to want to propose and get married, but it could also push the wrong kind of man out of your life, which is a good thing. If he's not willing to wait around for you, then maybe he has other intentions.
There's a lot of pros to that.
Yeah.
Like especially in the like what?
Like what? Like what pros? Like
to waiting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like what she was saying are two big ones. Yeah. But that's not a very people do not do that these days as much.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of see a little bit more like on social media, people talking about it more.
Yeah.
But it is not the flow of the river these days.
Well, I think for men, it's just like another thing is it's intimidating. Some men are just like, I'm never gonna get married. Why would I get married? And you have to deal with like, you know, divorce and all. It's just like.
Actually, one of the arguments I've heard from men is that they get, you know, once a divorce happens, they're kind of like left with the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
I've heard.
How so?
Well, because a lot of people, like if they end up having like a child or a child, they would have to pay
child support.
And then a bunch of men are like, well, why would I want to do this? You know, and then they kind of think of women as like really like bad now.
Do women ever pay child support?
No.
Is that common?
Usually not. It's usually the men, and when you look at the statistics, like the guys end up like absolutely destroyed after that.
Yeah. And even like in a court case over your child, if you're wanting, you know, custody, it's usually the women that always win those.
Yeah. That's true.
It is sad. I do like feel bad for men in those situations because not all men are bad.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. So when is it okay to get divorced then?
No. I mean, the Bible clearly outlines that.
I don't agree with that.
Really?
I don't agree with that.
I think so because it clearly the Bible doesn't ever like mess up in its words, and it always gives us everything we need in the exact amount.
Okay, but it says two things. All right. The first thing is they say, when did you divorce? When is it okay to divorce? And then he says, oh well, it's written in our law that you just write a paper and dismiss your wife.
Well,
yeah. And then it's like, and then he said, well, that's because your hearts have been hardened, you know? And I know that he says that, well, You're probably gonna say it. Just say it.
No. Okay. So the one thing is adultery, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And obviously, if someone's trying to kill you,
Well, one thing that I've also heard is that if you are gonna be divorced, well, even if the person is abusive, this is a very like hot take for a lot of people, but even if the person's abusive, you don't divorce them, but you live separated from them until they're dead. Then you can marry again. Now this is a very interesting thing, and I don't know. I don't know if you're following me. So
explain
if
the
person's abusive, right?
Person's abusive.
You have promised to live with them through the worst and the best.
Yeah.
Right? Or stay married. Yes. The thing is that if this is a bad situation for you to be in, obviously don't harm yourself and don't be in this situation. But living separate from them, right, is one thing that I've heard instead of divorcing them, because there wasn't anything outlined in the Bible that says specifically for that reason to divorce the person. I don't know if you're following me with this, but like, yeah.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Catherine?
Oh, goodness. Oh. Okay. Yeah, sure. You don't want to live with someone who's going to murder you.
Yeah,
right?
Obviously don't. Yeah, I'm not saying that either.
No. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you should separate yourself. There's nothing there that says you cannot separate. Yeah. At least in the Bible, if we're taking that the authority there. But it does say that if there is adultery and it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Then if the person doesn't want to change.
Well, adultery can put your life at risk.
Sure.
It can. You can totally. I know. I had a great aunt, and she got an elephant leg because her husband was cheating on her, and she couldn't leave him because this was like the farm life. Like, I don't know. They lived in the middle of nowhere. It was like Courage the Cowardly Dog. And then she got an elephant leg, and then it was from syphilis.
Right.
So you can die from
cheating. HPV is something.
That is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Speaking of which, dude, have you seen Quiet on Set? You heard of that? Drake and Josh?
Yes, I heard of it, yes. I feel like I've basically watched it because when you go on TikTok and you see clips,
see all the stuff.
Keep going, and I'm like, okay, I saw the whole thing.
What'd you think? What'd you think about it?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, I love that these things are coming out because it's just showing people, like, how messed up, like, Hollywood is.
Yeah.
And that's, like, a whole nother topic, too.
But they don't just, I was seeing people say, oh, well, this is why my child is never going to become an actor. Or this is why I'm glad that I wasn't an actor as a child. But it's just like, yeah, but this happens a lot, like everywhere. This happens in like, I grew up in chess. It happens in chess. Like swimming. You hear stories about like
even
karate
sports
class
too. Like your coaches,
schools.
School,
I mean, it's
teachers,
just like predators like to target children that are from broken homes. And if you hear the one thing I got from, because I did watch the whole thing, is what happened to that guy was very calculated. It was like a process. Like he was, and then
I mean, it doesn't. These things. I mean, sometimes they do, but these things are very thought out, and you like gain the trust of the person.
That's right, Melissa.
Yes, hella weird. That's hilarious.
Amazing.
It's definitely that. Yeah, but these people that do these things, I think that they gain trust from like the person that they're gonna commit the act on. Yes. Just like what's her face, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, Ghislaine.
Yeah, getting the trust from everybody. It's like the same kind of thing.
Dude, and P Diddy. Did you see the thing about?
Oh my gosh,
it was like it was like two like Quiet on Set P Diddy. Like
I mean, I think
weird.
this is just like the start of things like really coming out. But
another thing that kind of like makes it, or something that brings to mind is like Sound of Freedom. Right, the beginning clip. I don't know if you've seen Sound of Freedom. Yeah, the opening scene, and just where the kid is left alone, and the parents kind of just like willingly trust the adult to take care of their child. Yeah. And we did have was it her name Arden? We did have her on, and she used to be a child actor. Arden. Yeah, she is amazing. She's doing really great investigative journalism. Into like
worked with like Project Veritas and Expose and doing undercover.
Cool. She's been doing a lot of stuff, and
Pornhub.
And she has a wealth of knowledge of what happened behind the scenes when the parents weren't there during photo shoots and things like that.
So
and
true.
It was such a we do have a podcast episode we did with her, I think earlier in the year. Yeah, earlier this year.
Yeah, it was just like a few weeks ago. Dude, yeah. No,
that was really big. Did you find something?
Well, I'm trying to find this guy who like came out. It was like Prince Harry. I never keep up with those guys. I know.
Well,
I'm like,
is it one of the?
it was one of the.
royals?
Diddy had P Diddy basically came out with a list of. It was just like the Epstein stuff. He came out with a list of people who has visited his trafficking ring at his houses.
Interesting.
So, and I think Prince Harry or something was on the list. I'm double checking.
I'm sure
that
those
right now.
royals are very.
Yeah.
They're satanic. Tin hat on.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
satanic.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard the lizard tail too. I'm like, oh, okay.
I've gone down deep rabbit holes about the royals and Hollywood too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Prince Harry. Yeah, I was right.
Well, somebody just put. Oh, yeah. Melissa put Prince Harry was named in the 39,000 page document.
Oh my goodness. Is that just for P Diddy or is this for Epstein too?
Oh, gosh.
That's crazy.
I can't believe these lists.
He leased his house off.
But you know what's crazy?
Oprah. I've heard stuff about Oprah.
Where are you, Melissa? You need to come here.
Yeah, we need to have you on here because this is crazy.
It's crazy, like with these lists that come out, and even like the Epstein files that came out. Nobody cares. Like, it's really sad.
They're like, that's crazy.
And then we go back to our normal life. I'm like, hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Come on.
We have such a short
attention
span.
Yeah.
Like goldfish over here.
I know, and I think that has to do with social media. It's all planned out. That's why we have a short attention span, because now we have social media and we click,
That's
scroll.
true.
And
I've always wondered why, like, for some reason, throughout living like my life, like when I was very small, I'd still remember things, and people would forget about things so easily, and I'd just be like, but don't you remember this? And I just kind of feel like the last like nobody else did, so I kind of felt like I wouldn't speak up because I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm just the crazy one.
Here's the
it's like,
attitude,
no,
though. It's like, oh, somebody will take care of that. Like that's an injustice. Someone will take care of it. I don't have to. Like, I'm just gonna have to rely on the authorities to take care of that. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
we're turning into Quakers.
Quakers. No,
Quakers. So I'm gonna sound so dumb. Okay, there are no dumb questions. What is a Quaker?
Oh my goodness.
It's a religion. It's a religion. They're pacifist.
Oh.
Living here in America, they're like Christian farmers. I don't know.
Like
Amish. I don't know how to.
Like they won't go to war. They're famous for
kind of like the Amish, but like Quakers are. Ooh, Quakers are really, really big. If you read a lot of like revolutionary time like books or things, Quakers really big. They were like known as like the gentle as a gentle as a bee, or am I just making this up? I don't know.
No,
I remember reading about this all in school during history when I was just like in 3rd grade.
It was like the beginning of like our foundings was more Quaker was more prevalent.
And then what about the oatmeal guy?
Actually,
that's
like him. Now, actually, Quakers
surprised he's still on there.
Yeah.
Isn't that racist?
Yeah, didn't he own slaves? Shouldn't we take the slave owners off the packages too?
One thing that I know is that Quakers were originally not even wanted here in America.
Yeah.
They were kind of kicked out. They were told that they were going to die or get hanged, right? If they kept on coming back to the Americas, the colonies. But they just kept on coming, and they were like, we're really gonna do it this time. We're really gonna hang you guys, and they were just like, we're coming anyways. And so they all kind of just came over, and it's really funny.
Yeah. a few of them were hung.
Yeah.
A few of them were burned.
No, but it did not it did not discourage them at all.
Is it true that teenage girls ran the Salem witch trials?
I wouldn't put it past that.
It would make so much sense.
It was usually a lot of women who were upset
teenage
with other
women.
Well, no, just even middle-aged women, because they were just like kind of upset with like their neighbor who they had something with.
I mean, it was
like
started by two girls. It was started by two
Catherine
young girls. Well, I know the same thing you know.
Yeah.
But it was started by a minister or pastor's daughters, and then it kind of just grew out of there.
Yeah, the girls were just playing around. Like, they were just, like, two children having fun. Like, not...
Or was it, like, a Mean Girl situation where these nasty girls just, like, keep getting worse and worse, and it was before, society was really established?
Well,
I mean, think about it. Women can be really vicious.
Well,
yes. Women destroy character. That's what women do. That's how we settle fights.
You know why?
Men do it physical. Women do it by destroying the other person's reputation.
And you know why? Because that's women's gift. Women's gift is to build character in their little humans. They build character. They build their emotional ecosystem is built by the mother. So no wonder it's a talent of hers also to destroy it. It's a God-given gift, right? So women have to be careful.
Melissa keeps on coming up with more stuff. Okay, the Amish dude won his Supreme Court case to have the right to sell his non-GMO vegetables.
Oh, that's good.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's huge. That is huge. There was a farmer, an Amish farmer, who had his cows. I don't know if you can repossess cows, but they had his cows taken away.
My cow back.
He was had like a butcher thing going on where he was just selling meat. This was during COVID, and the Fed didn't like this. They're like, grass-fed beef, not stamped by us. How dare you? Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
we all need to grow our own vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I want to learn how to do.
It's so worth it. My cousin does it.
Really?
She has a whole community farm in her backyard. And just chickens and like rows of
I used to have
crops.
chickens. I love chickens. They're so cute. My chickens, we named them all cute names. Rosie, Journey 1 and Journey 2. Like
Wait,
Jippy Bear.
Did you get them as chicks?
Yeah, we got them as chicks. They're so cute, but they grow up too quick. But they're they're cute after.
We had the speckled ones, the black and white.
We had green eggs.
The Americanas.
I love those.
Oh wow.
Okay,
they look so cute.
I have something disturbing. Okay, I have a lot of relatives. One of my other great aunts, not the elephant leg one. Another one. She became an abortion surgeon later in life. She wrote a book. She was like well known in the medical industry. She was also a woman, and it was the 60s and all this stuff. And brilliant woman. And when she was a child, she used to take apart chickens.
Oh, geez.
And put them back together.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Wait. No, seriously.
Grew up to become an abortion doctor.
That's crazy.
Okay. Most people, most of the what we've noticed between like serial killers is that they actually, for some reason, have this obsession with starting with killing like animals at a young age, and that's like science for that. Just like,
Right.
That's not everybody that kills animals. Okay, like if you step on like an ant, I mean, like, okay, but like
also kids
like
can
actual animals.
Kids can be pretty evil left to their own devices.
No,
my grandma grew up on a farm, and in Nebraska, like I said, like crop duster type stuff, and she put a bunch of kittens in a bag one time. And then filled it with water and accidentally drowned a bag of kittens on
Don't
it.
tell me that. Don't tell me that. That's terrible.
I mean, it was like the 30s, but a child left to their own devices.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even something that you can get super upset with because you're like, they didn't know.
Yeah.
They're a child.
One thing, okay. My grandmother, she said in Mexico she used to like tie like mayates. Those are the beetles, right?
Yeah.
What are they called? They're big beetles. Like everybody here in California gets scared of them. Like I don't know,
like the flying ones.
There's the flying ones. Yeah,
they make a loud noise.
Yeah, they make a loud noise, and then she would tie their little legs and like swing them around.
Oh my!
Yeah. With a string.
With a string.
Just watching.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
She used to collect butterflies too.
That's because we're. Would you guys think that we're inherently evil when we're born?
Well, I mean, because
the
Bible does tell us that we are when we're born we're sinful.
Okay.
So it's just probably that.
We're innocent. The definition of innocence is not inherently bad. It doesn't have a bad connotation that's evil. It's just like not knowing. But at the same time, they are a human, and they will pursue stuff it's curiosity killed the cat. Like it's just
sinful nature.
Nature, yeah. So it's not that they're good, they're innocent, you know. But we were all innocent at one point. Like I'm innocent. But and that's the thing, that's what growing up is. It's like you're breaking out of innocence, so you better be. That's why that quiet on set thing is so disturbing, because it's just like, especially when it's a man who does that to a young boy. There's like the layer of it that basically is already sexual abuse. It's wrong. You're warping a brain. You literally turn the child's whole reality upside down on its head. When a child is sexually abused, that's why it's one of the worst things you can do. And then on top of that, you're confusing them about their sexuality. and you're introducing a homosexual lifestyle to them. So it's just like, I think that's why that documentary is trending so much, and why it's hitting people differently, because it's like, oh,
my question is, like, did
gosh.
people not know that this happened? Like, these things happen? Is this news to people?
It's that it's getting caught and, like, revealed. It's becoming real. It's becoming real right in front of us with someone we know.
So it's just hitting different this time.
We did one time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this.
Hitting me
differently.
The guy who there was a guy who tried to get us into acting. Get me into acting. Right. Remember that?
That's right.
What was that story? Because he did say that there was stuff going on, but I don't quite remember what that was.
Yes.
Is that like related to this?
So
I don't know.
I
don't know at all.
I mean, he said that if you do pursue something for your daughter, if you're interested, you need to be very careful. Like, you need to be with her all the time.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never interested. I've been always approached like,
I was kind of like, Mom, why didn't you let us?
Yeah.
Upset.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I know now.
All right, you asked if it was new, and I'll say this. It's not new. It's just our society has changed. Our society is new. So we're approaching this situation, because there was another thing too, like Drake's dad was a very protective father. He was like, he spotted that pedophile a mile away.
Yeah.
And he was like, that guy's attracted to my son. He brought it up to someone on set, and that person said, no, he's gay. And then so the guy was like, okay, but that doesn't change the fact that he's getting really close to my son.
Yeah.
And suddenly the whole set ostracized him and said, oh, you're a homophobe.
Yeah.
You're a homophobe. Because, you're saying that this gay guy can't be around your child? That's homophobic. Yeah. And he said, no, that's not what I said. I believe my child is being groomed. They didn't listen to him. That man ended up being a predator in Drake's life. And so I think we're on the brink where I'm sure you've heard about the school stuff. We've been talking about that for like over a year now. It seems like the school stuff with the introducing these styles to children is terrible, terrible, terrible.
It is.
Anyway,
I think
we're done
starting
now.
to wrap up on time now.
It's just getting started.
No, seriously. No,
we'll have a part 2. Part 2?
Yes, we should.
We need to have a podcast after the podcast.
Yeah,
that would be
like
great.
an after party.
Like we just put bean bags over on
no,
the stage.
we should do that.
Get coffee. Decaf coffee.
That would be funny.
There you go.
No, I was very excited to have you on. That is actually so cool. Because I've been wanting to have somebody on to talk about a little bit of like holistic, like lifestyle. I've been watching Alex Clark so much lately.
Yes,
oh my
she
goodness.
is a holistic girly. Yes,
through
through and through.
She's been coming out with so much of this. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, I'll shameless plug our conference that we're having in June called YWLS Young Women's Leadership Summit. We have a holistic, I don't want to call coach, I don't know.
Practitioner.
Sure. That's going to come to speak. So YWLS is so cool. It's just for women. So it's just kind of nice to be surrounded, around. And because the holistic thing is kind of trending right now.
Yeah.
Trending in such a good way.
And when is that happening?
June 7th through the 9th in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
Killing me at the San Antonio, Texas. So, are there any grants that anybody can get?
Yes,
if involved?
100%.
Okay, let's talk about those.
We can, But talking about the holistic thing, there will be like a holistic speaker there, which is really cool. Alex Clark always goes, which is cool. Oh, yes. It's called Young Women's Leadership Summit. It's June 7th through the 9th in San Antonio, Texas.
Is there a website we can go to?
Yes. You can go to the Turning Point website, and it'll be on there,
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's cool, especially because everything that we were talking about, just with, like, women in sports, like, all that.
SAGs.
Yeah, SAGs. That's so funny. That's so funny. It reminds me of the that show with the women of the what is it? Wives and girlfriends of sports or something? Professional sports?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, WAGs. It's called WAGs.
WAGs.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, but Young Women's Leadership Summit is 10 out of 10. I would definitely go, especially if you're just thinking about it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you, Mother.
You're
welcome.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming on and being able to watch. It's been such a good time. I think I love this.
Thank you.
It's great.
So much.
And I don't know. Did you put in a plug for yourself? Like,
oh,
where people
sure.
can find you?
You can find me on X. It's not called Twitter anymore.
I know.
X at Freedom Frankie is my @ there.
Ooh,
you can also find me on Instagram, Francesca D'Aquila. You can also so many things. You can also find me Turning Point USA Inland Empire if you'd like to follow that. Gives you more info for the Young Women's Leadership Summit too.
Cool.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and everybody remember to check out 180's social media platforms if you're watching on like YouTube, 180 Shift. You can find us there. Also check out our website 180shift.org. Okay.